Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChiara, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Metro Manila for another installment of our daily. That's right, daily, folks. Learn to earn in 15 minutes or less, where I'm going to give you business, tax, and marketing strategies in 15 minutes or less. That's right. So we're already on the clock, folks. Now, just to recap, uh, the first one, which was on Friday, was about start with why. Find your purpose and apply it to your business. Yesterday was about the three important questions that every business needs to be able to answer. If you can't answer these three questions, you really need to go back and do a deep dive. What are the three questions? Number one, what problem do you solve? Number two, who do you solve it for? And number three, how do you solve it? You need to be able to answer those questions before you could start marketing your business. If you can't answer those three questions, you're like a ship without a paddle. Okay, you're going to be drifting aimlessly in the marketing abyss. So don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to waste a lot of time and energy. So question number two is, who do you do this for? Do you have a client avatar? So what we're going to talk about today is creating your client avatar. Okay, so what exactly is a client avatar? When I joined John Limbacher's ACT program, and you could go on YouTube and search John Limbacher. I don't know how to spell his last name, but the guy is brilliant. He created this ACT program, and the ACT program actually comes from the big advertising agencies. How did they create and launch multi-million-dollar campaigns? You don't spend that kind of money without doing some market research first. Unfortunately, not many of us have millions and millions of dollars to spend just on doing market research. So a lot of times it's trial and error. So you got to do a deep dive. Again, if you follow the progression of these recordings, start with why, answer the three questions. Now we're up to who do you specifically, and you want to be as specific as possible. Who do you solve this problem for? So let me take you through my journey. And when I started this, I had to look at my existing client base. So if you have an existing client base, you're a big step ahead of the game. So when I had looked at all of my clients, big and small, medium size, annual clients, monthly clients, I came up with what we came to call the liqueur client. Okay, what is the liqueur client? Well, I had a client that was one of our smallest clients. It was all of our clients are on a monthly retainer. So, but this particular client happened to be one of our smallest clients. Okay, but what set her apart? What made her different? Well, for one, what I found out is she's a woman. I learned that I prefer working with women. Does that mean I didn't have male clients? I have plenty of male clients. Okay, but on the whole, it's easier for me to work with a woman client. They seem to be able to take direction better, especially coming from a man. Okay, it's just the way it was. So number one, I knew it was women were actually my best clients. Okay. Uh, Again, that doesn't mean that men aren't as good. It's just that when I do my target, my client avatar, if I'm going to spend any money on advertising, that's who, if when you check off the box, male or female, I'm checking off female. Age. Okay, so when I had started with her a long, long time ago, and I believe she was in her late 30s, early 40s. She was also divorced. Okay, she was a consultant. So we also found out that our liqueur clients are coaches and consultants. Now, why is that? In my business, accounting, you have to constantly give advice and direction. And if you're in this or a similar type of business, you can relate to how frustrating it is when you spend the time, you put in the effort, and you uh, ask the client to follow some simple directions. Okay, we keep everything as simple as simple as possible. So when I looked at this, I said, well, coaches and consultants are just like me. They're giving their clients guidance, advice, and instructions. So I believe that they put themselves in their own shoes. They're like, when I give somebody advice and they don't follow it, it's frustrating. So women, single, okay, that's important. Uh, Coaches or consultants because they follow directions. Another thing, and this has nothing to do with being a woman or a man, but yeah, follows direction, pays their bills. Our client avatar actually pays their bills happily. They don't complain. They're not saying, oh, I'm overpaying you. They value our services. So how do you come up with your client avatar? Like I said, if you already have a client base, all you have to do is do what I did. You know, make do a survey or a list. All of your client characteristics, and it could be everything. I mean, when I started, I went overboard to, do they wear perfume? Do they wear makeup? You don't have to do that deep a dive. Okay, if you're selling that stuff, yeah, if you're selling perfume, you want people that actually use perfume. If you're selling makeup, you want people that actually use makeup. So, but where do you start if you're just starting out? You don't have a track record. You don't have, experience working with thousands or even hundreds of different clients. Okay. That's where you go back to, you start with why. Okay. Who has this particular problem? So let's say I'm working with teachers. The problem is teachers that are either retiring or in a career transition. Okay, so obviously I need people that are in the education field. Okay, people that are actually teachers. Well, what kind of teacher? How old are they? Obviously, if they're either retiring or in a career transition, they've been doing this for a while, most likely at least a couple of decades. Okay, so now you start narrowing it down. The narrower is that a word? I'm not sure. But the more focused you could get on who this person is, the more likely you'll be be on the road to success. And good morning, Vince. Thank you for following me. And thank you for your insightful interview on Friday. So let's say you're not too sure. You're not, you know, you're unsure of who you want to work with, who you're better. So then do this. Figure out who you don't want to work with. Who is it that you don't want to work with? Okay. I don't enjoy, and I've had plenty of these clients, and if you're one of them, don't think that I won't do business with you because I don't put everybody into a basket. I'm talking about if I want to spend time and money marketing my business. The truth is, about over 80% of our clients come from referrals. Okay, so I want to be clear here. This is all about when I'm marketing my business. Okay, who am I not going to market to? I'm not going to market my business to people with complicated sales tax situations. Sales tax, believe it or not, is probably the most complicated, convoluted tax that there is. Nobody wants to collect it. Nobody wants to charge their clients. Nobody wants to pay it. Okay, it's a hindrance. Who I don't want clients that are in highly specialized industry, not for profits. I don't do financial audits, so large not for profits are off the table. Even if they were referred to me, for the simple fact that I'm not qualified to do audited financial reports. Okay. Young single men. Okay, why? Because when it comes to business, they're usually irresponsible. They have other things on their minds. And so here's another point: you can have several client avatars. You don't need just one. You don't need just one. So another one of our client avatars, because we teach Philippine accountants how to enter the U.S. tax market. So guess what? Just like Vince, just like the hundreds and hundreds of other students we've had, they are, and if I keep looking over, it's because I have a kitten that's jumping all over the place, and I want to make sure that she doesn't hurt herself. That reminds me, another one of my traits is somebody that has a pet. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's because they care. But anyways, your client avatars might have traits that don't even make sense to you. But what you're looking for is a pattern. Why is it that all of my favorite clients have a dog? And I'm just using that as an example. So just to recap, the more specific that you can get on your client avatar, the better, the more likely your chances of success. And if you can't clearly identify who your client avatar is, then start defining who they're not. And then eventually, just by process of elimination, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to say, oh, these are the people I want to target. So we're at about 14 and a half minutes. I promised this would take 15 minutes or less. So that's my story for today. I'm sticking with it. God bless. And if you want to connect with me, all you have to do is go to timewithjoe.com. If it's about business, if it's about relationships or raising kids, I can't help you. So we're down to the wire, folks. Again, God bless. Have a good Sunday, and I will talk to you next time. So long.